Hey folks, thanks for watching. As we continue to follow the Kentucky shooting story recently, I just wanted to say that if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, click that little red button below, and if you'd like to be notified of my posts first, then click the little bell and it'll send you a notification as soon as I post a video. So what we're finding out, with the system and everything is that it seems to be crooked and it's not straight, right? We've had this accident, quote unquote, happen over and over and over and over. And we seem to be having troubles learning from that. In my opinion, especially with the United States laws and the fact that you are allowed to carry a weapon and whatnot, I believe that the school systems would save financially by allowing their teachers to carry a weapon during school time. Let's face it, if a situation like this happens and this person can be stopped in their tracks, before they reach classrooms, I think that more lives can be saved by the teachers being prepared. Our school systems and whatnot, the U.S. school systems as well, may not be able to afford security and whatnot, but they can certainly afford to allow their bylaws to include a security clause to allow them to be able to carry a concealed weapon for the purpose of protection solely, due to the fact that this world just doesn't seem to be getting any better. Poor choices are made consistently and constantly. We need to, I think, amend some of those bylaws and relook at what we can do to better help the people that are in the school systems, to equip them with the right things and the tools that they need in order to just protect themselves as well as the students that attend there. I think that that would be a smart move, and if that required taking a safety and training course, maybe that could be something that would be mandatory or required for teachers in the future. So there's a lot of things that are going to get looked at throughout this case unfolding, and I did just want to send out those little thoughts. Hopefully you folks have some other suggestions on what we can do, because as the journalist said, there should be a solution to this already. We've gone through it. The world has gone through it way too many times. We need a solution. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't clicked the little button below, click that subscribe button, and if you'd like to be notified of my posts first, click the little bell and it'll send you a notification as soon as I post. Thanks for watching, folks, and let's stay safe out there. Bye for now.
In the morning, a 15-year-old boy, a student here at Marshall County High, came in with a pistol and started firing shots. 20 people were hurt, 16 people hit by bullets. Others were hurt trying to escape. We know two 15-year-olds died from the gunshots. Bailey Nicole Holt at the scene and Preston Ryan Cope at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. It's been a traumatizing, terrifying experience, and this morning we are hearing from family members of victims, a student who was inside that school.
This scared the hell out of me, because he got shot in the arm, and I heard that his arm might be amputated, which, there's a 90% chance he's going to keep his arm now, which I'm grateful for.
And at this hour, we know 4 people still at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. 3 of those people in critical condition, 1 in stable condition. Kentucky State Police yesterday told us not to expect much in way of a press conference today unless they had some kind of a big update. Lisa and Colin.
All right, Dan, what can you tell us about the ages of these victims this Wednesday morning? Not much is known, I guess, in that area.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Kentucky State Police told us last night, we brought this to you on News 5 at 11 o'clock, that these victims are ranging in age from about 14 years old to about 18 years old. And we'll keep following this to bring you any new details on these victims and how they're doing today.
There's a high school in Kentucky Monday, a school cafeteria outside Dallas, a charter school parking lot in New Orleans as well. There have been 11 shootings at schools in the first 23 days of this year. In October, after the Vegas shooting, you said it was an unspeakable tragedy from that podium. You said it was a day for consoling survivors and mourning those who we lost. You said there's a time and place for political debate. What has the president done in the time since October to try to prevent any of these shootings from taking place?
Look, I think first and foremost to recognize that any loss of life is incredibly sad, and any shooting at any school across this country is something that should never happen. Students fearing for their lives while they're attempting to get an education is unacceptable, certainly in this administration and by this administration. The president believes that all Americans deserve to be safe in their schools and in their communities. We've had 2 years of increased violence prior to the president taking office. We've tried to crack down on crime throughout the country. The president instructed his administration to make the recent crime wave a top priority. Some of the things that they've accomplished in that process and been focused on is they've charged more defendants with violent crime offenses than in any year in decades. They've charged the most federal firearm prosecutions in a decade, and they've convicted 1,200 gang members and took down numerous drug trafficking organizations, all in an attempt to help create safer and better communities and certainly safer schools. Thanks so much,
Wait,
guys.
Sarah, to be clear, you said we all agree that we want students to be safe at schools. That's not in dispute. And we all agree we don't want there to be crime. But what is the president specifically doing? You guys said at the time today was not the day, but we should have these policies.
I just read off a lot of the things that he's doing.
We should have a policy conversation. So the question is, what is the policy the president's willing to pursue or actively direct others to pursue to help make sure that these students are safe?
Look, I know the Department of Justice instructed ATF to do a thorough review on a number of firearm provisions. That is ongoing, and it will be submitted to the Office of Management and Budget. We're going through that process. That policy review and that policy discussion is taking place. At the same time, the president has instructed the Department of Justice to crack down and make the crime wave that took place long before the president ever came into office a major priority. And you're seeing that happen. You're seeing a Department of Justice that is being active, empowering its law enforcement to crack down on crime. And that's what those results that I just read out to you show, is that they're putting a focus on that.
Seem to be their own category. We agree we don't want crime.
I think they're part of a crime wave, absolutely. I don't think you can completely separate the two. They are a part of domestic violence, and I think that it certainly would be part of a crime wave that we are focused on addressing, and you can see some of the things that we've done since taking office.
For the nation and tell Americans how he feels about this issue and try to do what he can with the bully pulpit
I think he has, Peter. I mean, to sit there and question, I'm sorry, hold on. I was polite and let you finish, but let me be very clear on this. The fact that you're basically accusing the president of being complicit in a school shooting is outrageous.
It's his advertisement that accuses the Democrats of being complicit on a different topic. I'm not accusing the president of anything.
Ignoring the fact that the safety and security of our borders is very different. The president has been very clear and instructed the top law enforcement agency in this country to crack down on crime and to do everything they can to prevent these types of things. We've talked about it here numerous times, and we're going to continue moving forward in that process. Thanks, guys.
Is the president still 100% willing to speak with Mueller?
You know what? Let's start there. David Chalian and Jamie Gangel, they're both with me, and I know we got to get to the Russia investigation. I know we've got to get to immigration, but let's start with what happened in Kentucky yesterday. This 15-year-old comes into this school, and so many people were injured. There were deaths, and again, it's an excellent question, David Chalian from Peter over at NBC, about where is the president on this? Why doesn't the president come out and publicly acknowledge the gun violence in our nation's schools and churches and theaters and what have you, and do something about it? Where is he?
I mean, whatever Sarah Sanders can point to of having the Justice Department get a review going, that's not going to satisfy the question that Peter was actually getting at. And what is clear in her answer, as she was sort of struggling to actually answer, there is no answer. I mean, the president clearly has not made this a top priority policy issue of his administration. And Peter was right to note what the comments were back at the time of the Las Vegas shooting, that wasn't the time, but there's been plenty of time since. And the real answer is we have not seen this president create this as a front and center policy priority.
What do you make of it?
I think one of the things that's very shocking about all of this is how it has become an ordinary thing day in and day out. And the fact that it's not getting addressed gets harder to understand by the day.
Yeah.
But we how many school shootings have we had? You know, how long does this go on? I mean, I remember Columbine when it was a huge story, and we all thought it would be different. And then we had Connecticut, and it's just, it's, I think, remarkable that we haven't made it a priority.
New details about the victim's final moments. The mother, a 15-year-old Bailey Holt, one of the students killed, says that she kept trying to reach to her daughter as soon as she heard the news about the rampage. In one of the final acts of her young life, she says Bailey called her back.
All I could hear was voices and chaos in the background. And she couldn't say anything. And I tried to call her name over and over and over, and she never responded. I know he's probably having a hard time too, but
He still took her baby.
he still took my baby from me.
The second victim, 15-year-old Preston Cope, died at the hospital. 16 others were wounded, including Bailey's first boyfriend. Her parents say that he was shot in the face but has survived. The unidentified 15-year-old suspect is charged with 2 counts of murder and 12 counts of first-degree assault. The point has been made, John. This was the 11th school shooting just this year alone. It's only January.
Look, I can't imagine the pain that that mother's going through, which is why I think it's so important that we hear it, given what you just said. This is the 11th school shooting. Listen to that. Listen to the pain of that mother.
You know, we've been here too many times. It seems the answers seem obvious to lots of people, and yet we don't seem to be able to get any movement towards stopping these.
All right, our hearts go out to them, obviously.